Panelist Syracuse City Court Judge Felicia Pitts Davis is the subject of a complaint to the State Judicial Commission after she reportedly left her courtroom without explanation and declined to officiate at a wedding of a gay couple last month. Apparently, such marriages violate her religious beliefs. And in addition, District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick says she shouldn't be allowed to handle any of his office's cases as she might be biased, and he's asked a grand jury to investigate her. Tara, how do you balance her fairness as a judge with her religious beliefs?
Well, I think first and foremost, she should have made the decision ahead of time that if she could not marry gay couples, she simply would not do marriages.
And judges are allowed to do that,
right.
Either all or nothing.
Exactly. And we wouldn't be in this situation if she had made that decision, because in the world that we live in, it was very likely that at some point she was going to be asked to marry a gay couple. But where I think you have a balance here, and in a sense I think she was trying to find that balance, is that once she made the decision to refuse, she didn't just simply get up and say, okay, I'm just refusing. She found another judge and made sure that they did get married. So here, this is where, to me, it becomes very murky. She was trying to find that balance. Did she really do so? That seems to be the question. Some people would see this as discrimination. Others might simply say she simply, quote, recused herself from the case, which judges are allowed to do. So to my way of thinking, she did find a balance.
Luke, how do you see this?
It seems to me that this was handled inappropriately. I mean, since Obergefell in 2015, gay and lesbian couples have a constitutionally protected right to marry. And so even if certain states have different policies that accommodate judges to do things in certain ways, I fundamentally don't understand why someone would run for judge and go into the public sector and pledge to serve all people, and then when it comes to officiating marriages, only do some couples and not other couples. That's not the way the U.S. Constitution works. That's not how equal protection works. And while I respect people's different religious beliefs, I think they should find a different line of work or a different venue of work if they have matters of individual conscience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you brought in the Obergefell case, and that case is about whether marriage licenses cannot be revoked, or you have to give marriage licenses to a gay couple. And they were given a license, and the idea was whether they would be married or not. My question is, what law precisely did this judge break? I'm not sure about what exact law that this judge broke, and I agree with you in that sense that a judge should not be able to pick and choose. And if we do that, then there are many other public servants who, can make these kind of exceptions for different reasons, and that would not be ethical in many stands. But they were given the marriage license. Obergefell was not violated, right? Now, what is the law surrounding actually being able to marry someone or not? I'm not sure.
Well, from what I read, it does sound like you're obligated to not discriminate when you choose to engage in official manner as someone who marries people. So I think I feel for the couple who were treated as second-class citizens, right? And it's a violation of their equal dignity. And so I understand why people are upset about this. And I think if you sort of zoom back to sort of the bigger picture, these questions of the extent of, people's religious freedom, how far we should go in protecting that is a national issue. And I know that in 2003, the Supreme Court, took up a case in Colorado of a woman who didn't want to create websites for same-sex couples. And that was framed as a kind of clash between gay rights and free speech, but I think it also has implications and suggests that the Supreme Court is moving in the direction of expanding religious freedoms, particularly for Christians and conservative Christians.
Exactly, and I wrote a book on religious responses to marriage equality after Obergefell, and one of the main takeaways that stood out to me interviewing opponents to marriage equality was that they accepted the decision and essentially that they lost a 30-year fight to maintain traditional marriage, and they were viewing themselves as counterculture. And here we are just nearly a decade later, and as Sarah pointed out, society, it's not so much society, it's the Supreme Court has shifted and shown a greater willingness to protect religious freedom in ways that is going to set us back 10, 20 years when we think about civil rights and gay and lesbian people. And that's surprising to me and also concerning from a civil rights perspective.
So the Judicial Commission has a couple of options if they would choose to sanction her. One is admonish her, which would be a public decision explaining all the facts. Another is censure. That would be similar to admonishment, but for more severe things, the commission public information officer told me. Or the commission could remove her from the bench. Tara, if you were on the commission, where would you be on this? Admonish, censure, remove from the bench?
I think I would go with censure. Remove from the bench gets very murky because, as we've all said, it's sort of unclear, did she violate the law or did she violate a norm of judicial procedure? And so because right now that seems to be unclear, unless you can clearly say she violated the law. She didn't prevent this couple from getting married. She made sure that someone did marry them. So basically it was a delay in time. Yes, it was a violation of their dignity, but that gets into more civil than criminal. So I think censure would be best, but censure with some very clear guidelines for all other judges. This is what you agreed to do. Either you do it or you don't.
Great. Sarah, your thought on this?
Well, I think it's really up to the state judicial commission. I feel confident that this is the kind of thing why we have a commission like that they should decide after deliberation. I don't think we have all the facts, it seems like, and I think it's sort of premature for people to be calling for her resignation and to take her off all cases. She has a right to due process as well.
And we don't, as you say, we don't know all the facts. Well, let me just note that this story came to light only because of the perseverance of reporters at the Post-Standard, while the judge and the court officials were really trying not to didn't talk about this at all.